Good. There's a side project of one of my #1 shows on TV. Coming out this end of the week. Do we truly require the young men in school? Indeed. What's it, Netflix fans? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Gen V, the exceptionally fundamental side project show. What's more, I'll explain to you why. From the universe of the young men, this series investigates the original of superheroes that know where their superpowers come from. These legends should put their physical, furthermore, moral limits to the test, going after the school's highest level. Also, some of you will ask Austin, what is the show evaluated? Yet, you ought not be asking that. On the off chance that you seriously love the young men. However, I'll simply tell you, it's the most awful one you can imagine. This isn't a family show. There's a great deal of everything, each sex, bareness and violence and brutality. Furthermore, actually the entirety of the stuff that I appreciate about the young men. It's a dirty, dim story that sort of takes all of the hero sayings that we know and love. It flips them completely around. Is this show going to do likewise? Or on the other hand, is it simply youngster tension? Also, transitioning show, which I honestly couldn't care less about? I take that back. I care about it on the off chance that it's gotten along nicely. Assuming you give me convincing characters. Assuming you permit me to look into the lives of these individuals. In this show, which feels harder to do. It's sort of insane. I used to have the option to simply connect with the children, and presently I can't. Presently I connect with the more established age of superheroes in this world. Yet, listen for a minute, we'll begin with the characters in Geneva. They are extremely convincing every step of the way. You get a history from sort of the focal point of this show. We'll discuss her in a moment. Yet, how backstory is taken care of, it quickly let me know. This isn't some stupid side project. It takes all that we love about the young men. What's more, it simply pulverizes it. Squashed it into a minuscule chump estimated piece. What's more, when I said in the synopsis, that is sufficiently intriguing. This is the original of children. What's more, they know that their powers are not God. Considering everything that we know from the young men says to us that, indeed, this was somewhat of a choice. From the Guardians. The Guardians are the ones who said, we need our children to be infused with that superhuman serum. What's more, as a matter of some importance, that causes a major fracture between the grown-ups and the kids. In this show, we have a ton of the children who are managing their folks. They figure out the desire of what their folks had for them. And afterward those connections become, I think, seriously engaging. As you're jumping further into them. In any case, we have our fundamental person here. What's more, indeed, she doesn't actually have that parental figure in her life. At this moment, she's simply looking to reconnect with her sister, Jasmine Claire, who plays Marie Moreau. As a matter of some importance, I think her powers are super cool. They're somewhat horrifying and dim. Furthermore, many individuals around this school, this grounds, they consider them to be that. Yet, when she becomes involved with something toward the finish of the first, the start of the subsequent episode, that is the point at which her status around grounds gets raised and individuals are beginning to become mindful that there's more going on under the surface. Transformers with characters like Andre and Clancy Brown is in this show resembles the primary teacher, the big enchilada. Also, the person who gets to fairly single out who comes nearby, who doesn't come nearby. Also, goodness, I consider one the greatest parts of this show is who's going to assume control over when the 7 definitely has an aftermath. We know that is coming. Or if nothing else, they're amidst it. If you are not up to speed with the young men, please accept my apologies. In any case, this sort of expects me to talk. So what do I do? Goodness, poop. Please accept my apologies, yet earthy colored's personality, indeed. He as of now has his person selected. It's the well-known person around grounds. Everybody focuses on him and says, all things considered. That is the person. That will join the 7 at last. Furthermore, there's a fight continuing between power sets nearby. Who will ascend in the positions? Who will be in the main 10? Is there going to be a rookie in the main 10? Also, all of that is very buzzword. Like and senseless secondary school Smith School. In any case, senseless secondary school stuff. Furthermore, it seems like it's simply taking a page from the Netflix book of How About We center around the adolescent anxiety. Also, the approaching old enough. Also, they do a portion of these characters. What they're going through. Their natural feelings. That we've seen on many times. Also, network shows and motion pictures previously. However, similar to I said before. They're truly intriguing. What's more, when you give me a fascinating person. Or on the other hand a bunch of fascinating characters. To wear toward the start. Also, in that first episode. You will think. They're only similar to, alright, indeed. We know who this person is. We know who that young lady is. However, you don't. Furthermore, as you move and the realistic said toward the start. I've seen the initial 6 episodes. As you get more familiar with them. In any case, more. So the secret that is going on nearby. It's not the young men. It's not this universe without something strange happening behind the scenes. Furthermore, there is, similar to I said, more than meets the eye inside this school. What's more, when you begin to unwind the secret. Also, when our characters turn out to be more acquainted with one another. It appears toward the start. Like their directions are heading down all kinds of paths. In any case, everything begins to meet up perfectly. Furthermore, assuming you've just seen the initial 3 episodes. Furthermore, I trust that is what is debuting this end of the week. You're as yet not completely into it. I figure you will be by that point. However, brace yourself for what I'm about to tell you. It keeps on improving. They become involved with such countless trickeries. Also, the shock factor, what they do here. Like I said, it's the young men universe, it's the viciousness, it's the blood, it's the truly graceless intimate moments. That element contracting and insane stuff. What's more, we had a few successions like that in the young men. Yet, indeed, and simply the innovation that they're utilizing for a portion of these scenes for a television program. It looks pretty great. Decent. There's some pleasant social critique in there. Clearly, they will play on that parody component, however it's less of that. With Gen V, we've seen that in the young men. So dislike we need to do that. We can sort of save that for that show. Lizzie Broadway plays Emma. What's more, you assume you know what her identity is toward the start. However, at that point you begin to look further into her. Also, what she's going through. Furthermore, what this individual is going through. That individual's going through. And afterward everything occurring in the background behind the scenes. Being acquainted with another person. Or on the other hand through that. Also, as our characters realize what's going on, your jaw will be on the ground. Furthermore, it will be on the ground in any case. Since once more, you get the shock factor. All through the show would get along nicely. Presently within all that I'm saying, you're playing on these prosodisms. Sporadically. You will fall into these prosodisms. You will have the sentiment. Furthermore, the figures of speech and various stuff. Like I said, it's not as intrigued. In jabbing you in the side. Furthermore, saying how you see what we're doing. Here. It's simply stressed over characters. Furthermore, character advancement. That is fine. Yet, not every person will cherish that. So on the off chance that you're stressed over the reality that this is a side project of a dearest show. Furthermore, destroying what that stands is going for, not a chance. It works really hard at world building. Furthermore, you discover significantly more about this going into the following time of the young men. What's more, I had really say. This will sit idle. Be that as it may, upgrade the following time of the young men. What's more, ideally the following time of this. As may be obvious, I can hardly hold back to see more. I truly partook in the initial 6 episodes. Assuming you like me. Talk spoilers. For the initial 3 episodes, let me know that the show comes out tomorrow. Furthermore, you partook in this audit. What's more, you need to drop approval. That sounds accommodating. V is the ideal model of a fundamental side project as it presents interesting new characters. Also, shapes this world in the manner that most won't anticipate. Gracious, and the shock factor is over and above anyone's expectations. I'm not saying this show is better compared to the young men. Be that as it may, I was truly dazzled with what they had the option to do. Man, I'm likewise stunned that this is coming out this end of the week on the grounds that I have not seen a lot of showcasing for it. So hello. Greetings. It's coming out this end of the week. Look at it. Return to this channel. Inform me as to whether you just talk spoilers. Or on the other hand, in the event that you simply believe I should quiet down. Since I don't fault you. For what reason am I not sincerely associating to these characters? Why? Furthermore, per